Hello everyone, welcome to the Hindu analysis of 3rd December 2020. Today, the very first article is about the farmers' protest which is going on in Delhi for the past few days. And in the next series of discussions which are going to be held today, we have to see what would be the reaction of the government and how the farmers are going to take it forward. 1 week after they began protests on the borders of Delhi, farmers groups have demanded that the center call a special session of parliament to repeal the three new agriculture reform laws जो रिसेंटली सितंबर में एग्रीकल्चर लॉस लेके आए थे सेंटर उसको रिपील करने के लिए एक पार्लियामेंट का स्पेशल सेशन को बुलाने के लिए कह रहे थे फार्मर्स इफ देयर डिमांड्स आर नॉट मेट they threaten to choke the capital by blocking more highways entering the city. Already काफी सारे एंट्री पॉइंट्स जो पूरे नाइबरिंग स्टेट से दिल्ली पे आने वाले हैं जैसे कि फ्रॉम यूपी हरियाणा and all the other entry points to Delhi, they are already seen with hundreds of tractors lining up, hundreds of trucks lining up and blocking the roads to some extent. Now farmers are threatening that they would choke the capital city यानी कि पूरी तरह से जो कैपिटल में आना और कैपिटल से बाहर जाना सब कुछ बंद करने की बात कर रहे हैं ये लोग अगर उनका डिमांड्स सही तरह से नहीं माना जाते तो द ट्रकर्स कॉन्फेडरेशन आल्सो थ्रेटेंड ए स्ट्राइक इन द नॉर्थर्न इंडिया फ्रॉम डिसंबर 8 इन सपोर्ट ऑफ द फार्मर्स अगर सारे ट्रक्स जो नॉर्थ इंडिया में पूरे नॉर्थ इंडिया में चलते हैं अगर वो भी बंद हो गया सो लिटरली इट अफेक्ट्स द फूड सप्लाई चेन बिकॉज एवरी डे फ्रॉम मेनी विलेजेस अराउंड यूपी पंजाब हरियाणा एंड राजस्थान lot of trucks come to city bringing a lot of daily needs like vegetables fruits etc petroleum and other things अगर ये सारी चीज जब बंद हो जाती है when the trucks all the trucks are completely stopped that will create literally havoc in the entire northern India. But what is the government stand? Government is saying that the demand is नॉन नेगोशिएबल ये जो डिमांड इन लोगों के द्वारा की जा रही है ये बिल्कुल एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है द डिमांड इज नॉन नेगोशिएबल दे वांट थ्री लॉज टू बी रिपील्ड इमीडिएटली तो ये लोग क्या कह रहे हैं दैट वी ओनली नीड द लॉज टू बी रिपील्ड एंड रिमूव्ड इमीडिएटली हम लोगों को और कुछ नहीं चाहिए they will give their written objection and they will sit for discussions as long as their demand is not met they'll intensify the struggle and in the rest of the country यानी कि ये सारे चीजें जो है वो फार्मर्स के प्रोटेस्ट का फ्यूचर के बारे में यहाँ पे मेंशन किया गया था they already have given their written objections and they are already sitting for the discussions after few sets of discussions if their demands are not met then what will they do they will intensify the struggle in Delhi and also in the rest of the country यानी पूरे देश में एक ऑल इंडिया लेवल के स्ट्रगल करने के लिए भी ये लोग प्लान कर रहे हैं so that means they are going to take it to the next levels till their demands are met. The other borders of Delhi will be sealed and the city will be even more choked क्योंकि already काफी सारा प्रॉब्लम हो रही है कैपिटल में because all the borders are now being blocked by these farmers. They were not willing to get bogged down in a class by class discussion as their demand was full repeal यानी कि वो लोग क्लास बाय क्लास डिस्कस करने के लिए भी सहमत नहीं थे क्योंकि उनका डिमांड था कि पूरे एक्ट को रिपील करने का बट द सेंटर इज ओनली विलिंग टू कंसिडर मोर लिमिटेड रिविजन ऑफ द लॉस यानी कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट जो है वो बस रिवीजन की बात कर रही है लेकिन ये लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं कि उन लोगों को सिर्फ रिपील ही चाहिए सो फार्मर्स वांट इट टू बी repealed the entire bills have to be repealed but what is the central government saying it is only trying to do some revisions for the bill so that everyone is pacified while providing a legal safeguard for the MSPs, that is the minimum support prices, or writing it into the law is not something that the government wants to do. Adequate safeguards within the agricultural produce market committees. In every district, we have something called agricultural market committee. Even in village levels, we have these agricultural market committees. Now, in these agricultural market committees, required safeguards have to be mentioned, and also the MSPs. The biggest concern in the first and the foremost concern of all the farmers who are protesting is the MSPs have been withdrawn in the new bills. There is no provision for MSPs. That's why now these people are demanding the MSPs, along with that more safeguards in the agricultural produce market committees. Now in these agricultural market committees, the biggest safeguard will be removal of middlemen. अगर middlemen को हटाया गया था, then that will be the biggest benefit that can be done for the farmers. Even though there have been complaints from the farmers themselves that there have been cases of exploitation within the APMC structure, safeguards can be added as per what the farmers want. यानी कि ये जो एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस मार्केट कमिटीज में कई सारे प्रॉब्लम्स है, और उनमें से काफी सारे कंप्लेंट्स ऐसे आए थे कि there are lot of instances of exploitation within the APMC structure. Still there can be some more safeguards which can be brought to strengthen this APMC structure. The second and the दूसरी डिमांड क्या है? Grievance redressal mechanism under the new laws, which makes the district examination very powerful. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि पूरा कंट्रोल जो है वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के पास आएगा, और ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेस मैकेनिज्म जो है वो भी और ज्यादा रोबस्ट बनना चाहिए. And on the other side, the protesters are widening their scope and their allies, यानी कि जो इनको मदद देने वाले यूनियंस थे वो एक एक बढ़ के और भी ज्यादा हो रही है. The All India Motor Transport Congress, that is the union of all the motor transport organizations, which is for truckers. This point already we have discussed. They said they are going to start a strike from 8th December if the farmers' demands are not met. The strike would spread to the whole country if the center failed to heed to the farmers' demands. यानी कि अगर farmers' demands were not met, then there is a lot of possibility that it will spread to the entire country. Bharatiya Kisan Union Tikat Group, which is blocking the highways in Uttar Pradesh in separate protest, had a separate meeting with the cabinet ministers and also joined their hands with a wider movement for now. यानी कि एक एक करके जो अलग अलग प्रोटेस्ट हो रही है, अब सारे लोग इकट्ठा हो रहे हैं. दैट मींस द फार्मर्स ग्रुप्स आर गेटिंग इवन मोर पावर. But the center is trying to divide the farmers movement by negotiating separately with different groups. यानी कि हर एक ग्रुप को अलग अलग तरह से पैसिफाई करने के लिए सेंटर अलग अलग ग्रुप्स को डिफरेंट टाइम्स पे नेगोशिएशन शुरू कर रही है. This is not only the struggle of Punjab farmers anymore. We are a national movement jointly fighting under the Samyukt Kishan Morcha. That means United Agricultural Organizations banner. On December 7, sportspersons and ex-servicemen who are supporting the farmers will return their awards and medals to the central government. यानी कि ऑलरेडी काफी सारे स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन और एक्स सर्विसमैन में ये बात कहा था कि we are going to return our medals as expressing solidarity to this farmers movement, asserting that large corporates will benefit from the new laws at the expense of farmers. Protest leaders called for burning of effigies of industrialists. तो ये एक अलग तरीके से प्रोटेस्ट यहाँ पे की जा रही है. So we should understand few things keeping in mind about all these developments. The first one is there are 12,000 to 13,000 farmers who are dying every year. So are we really addressing these things with the present bills? Then MSP and its impact on food security, the minimum support prices and its impact on food security in our country. That is the next thing which we have to focus upon. Then demands of farmers and how are we going to address the concerns of farmers, because you cannot brand them as anti-national or illegal when there is an all India protest. तो इसके पीछे कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा चीजें हैं जिसके वजह से फार्मर्स काफी ज्यादा प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं. सो यू शुड एड्रेस दैट की इश्यू फर्स्ट. नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल, इंडिया विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट लेस देन बॉटम लाइन टॉक्स विथ चाइना. सो दिस इज आर्टिकल अगेन related to the India China Ladakh standoff and the withdrawal of troops from either sides. Talks with China on the line of actual control could be taking much longer time. That is what the external affairs indicated, drawing a parallel to a similar military standoff in Arunachal Pradesh, Sumdrong Chu in 1986 that took nearly 9 years to resolve. तो 1986 में एक जगह सुंदरोंग चू नाम के एक जगह में 9 साल तक चली थी ये मिलिट्री स्टैंड ऑफ, यानी कि दोनों तरफ वापस जाने के लिए सहमत नहीं थे. एंड बोथ द पार्टीज, that is India and China, they literally were doubting the other person, and that's why this entire standoff continued for 9 years. But now both India and China wanted it to be resolved as early as possible. India and China must take a long view of the border dispute and not just the incidents at the LAC this year. The External Affairs Minister has cautioned Beijing against dealing with India through prism of a third party in reference to India's close ties with the United States. Yani ki we can also deal the things through a third party like USA is what India said indirectly to China. China से हम लोग ये indirectly कहा था कि हम डायरेक्टली डील कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो अगर आप किसी थर्ड पार्टी को इन्वॉल्व करेंगे तो हम लोग भी अपना थर्ड पार्टी को इन्वॉल्व करेंगे. बिकॉज इंडिया डजंट वांट एनी एक्सटर्नल इन्वॉल्वमेंट इन इट, सिर्फ it should be treated as a bilateral issue. Then peace and tranquility in the border. The External Affairs Ministry could not divulge details of ongoing negotiations with Chinese side on resolving the standoff in Ladakh. अब तक एक्सटर्नल मिनिस्टर के द्वारा कुछ भी अपडेट नहीं मिली थी. We did not get any proper update regarding this. It was necessary to remember the crisis of 1986. Several years of talks were fruitless before both the armies, which were eyeball to eyeball in the Tawang region, disengaged in 1995. यानी कि कई साल तक जो टॉक्स रही थी वो बिल्कुल फ्रूटलेस रही थी उस वक्त, और अब भी शायद ऐसे ही हो रहा है. दैट इज एन इनडायरेक्ट इंडिकेशन विच इज बीइंग गिवन बाय द एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्ट्री. और इसके बीच में 1993 में एक एग्रीमेंट साइन किया गया था by the both countries to maintain peace and tranquility along the line of actual control. For India, the bottom line is that China has violated past agreements by amassing troops at the border, and that if peace and tranquility at the border is disturbed, the rest of India-China relationship is affected. तो इंडिया का कहना ये है कि आप लोग ये सारे एग्रीमेंट्स को वायलेट किए थे क्योंकि आप ही पहले मास ट्रूप्स को यहाँ पे इंडल्ज किया था और आप लोग सिटीज बिल्ड करना भी शुरू किया था अलोंग द बॉर्डर. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अ मैटर ऑफ कंसर्न फॉर अस. एंड व्हाट वी आर सेइंग इज अगर बॉर्डर पे हम लोगों के बीच में कुछ टेंशन होगा तो दोनों देशों के बीच में पूरी तरह से टेंशन रहेगी. यानी कि इन एवरी डोमेन, not only related to border, in every domain we will have a strained relationship if there is any problem in the border. India had undertaken an enormous military response in reaction to Chinese deployment. Generally हम लोग उतना ज्यादा पहले रिएक्ट नहीं करते थे, but now we have reacted in a very enormous way, that means in a very massive way. हम लोग कुछ ऐसा किया था कि उसका असर काफी ज्यादा दिखा सके चाइनीज को. रिपोर्ट्स ऑफ चाइनीज ऑक्यूपेशन ऑफ लैंड in Deepsang and North Pongongso did not set out the totality of the ground picture fairly. यानी कि ये दोनों जगह पे एलिगेशंस थी कि चाइना ने हमारे कुछ लैंड को ऑक्यूपाई कर दिया था, बट वी स्टिल डू नॉट हैव एनी क्लैरिटी ऑन टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट दे हैव कम और टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट वी हैव रिस्ट्रिक्टेड देम. तो ये एक चीज जो है वो हम लोग थोड़े दिन वेट करना पड़ेगा ताकि हम लोगों को कुछ क्लैरिटी मिले. Next article is about the cyclones. This article is important in two papers. One is the environment, other one is the geography. So what is the context or why it is again in news about the cyclones? Recently we had Nivar cyclone in Tamil Nadu. Now the next cyclone which we are talking is Burevi. So with the Tamil Nadu coast bearing the impact of cyclone Burevi within days of having been battered by cyclone Nivar, the question that many ask is whether the state has been experiencing more tropical cyclones in recent years than the past. क्योंकि पहले भी मैंने आपको बता चुका हूं कि तमिलनाडु is not much prone to cyclones. Tamil Nadu is comparatively less affected by cyclones in the past years, but why is it recently prone to more number of cyclones? मेटेरियोलॉजिस्ट ये कह रहे हैं कि पिछले कुछ साल में उतना ज्यादा साइक्लोन्स नहीं थे. The maximum occurrences were maybe in 1 or 2 years, one used to get affected, but when we take the last 10 years, only a maximum of one cyclonic system has created a disturbance, but there was no much effect. But going by the data for the period of 1965 to 2019, the average number of cyclone systems that affected the Bay of Bengal during October to December is 3.6. यानी कि every year there were 3 to 4 cyclones in Bay of Bengal. But when you have a cyclone in Bay of Bengal, the effect might be on Tamil Nadu or AP or Odisha or Bengal and Bangladesh, maybe Andaman and also Myanmar. So any one of the places will be affected because of this cyclones in Bay of Bengal. So literally on an average there are nearly 200 cyclones in the last 55 years. So all these areas are affected by these cyclones, but this is something which is very rare that Tamil Nadu is experiencing back to back cyclones. The term cyclonic system or a disturbance system, it covers different stages. The first stage is depression, then deep depression, then cyclonic storm, then severe cyclonic storm, and then very severe cyclonic storm, extremely severe cyclonic storm, and finally we have something called super cyclonic storm. So depending on the maximum wind speed what it is generating, from depression to super cyclonic storm we have various stages. If it is only till cyclonic storm, then we have some good rainfall and there will be less damage. But if it goes beyond, then it will create a havoc. There has not been any perceptible rise in the number of cyclonic systems that crossed the Tamil Nadu coast. It is evident that 39 systems had hit the state in 54-year period from 1965 to 2019. यानी कि पिछले 55 साल में सिर्फ 40 या 39 साइक्लोन्स ही तमिलनाडु कोस्ट को हिट किए थे. दैट मींस तमिलनाडु इज समवॉट सेफर when it comes to the matter of cyclones. So now from mid 1960s when the satellite weather forecasting started, from there we have a very clear data and we are using the data to analyze the patterns of these cyclones and why the cyclones are now affecting Tamil Nadu a lot. There were years when Tamil Nadu did not even have a single severe cyclonic storm, and it happened from 2001 to 10. The state recorded very high rainfall during this time. Yani ki there were no severe cyclones, but there is a very good rainfall. So that supply, that itself is something which is very peculiar and unique to observe. You are having very good rainfalls without a cyclone. That means there is no much damage to your crops or property, and you are having adequate rainfall which is needed for the state. In 2005, Tamil Nadu got adequate rainfall, but Andhra Pradesh got lot of cyclones. And even the recent data revealed that Arabian Sea is also experiencing an increasing in the number of cyclonic systems. Now, this can be attributed to some factors such as warming of the sea, that is, rise in sea temperature. Rise in sea temperature is also one of the biggest factors for increase in number of cyclones. Reduction in vertical wind shear, then changes in the speed and direction or both of the wind. जब विंड की डायरेक्शन, विंड की स्पीड, ऐसे सारे चीजें जब चेंज होती है, then naturally the temperature distribution and the warm ocean currents and cold ocean currents, everything gets changed. When all these things are changed, then naturally there is a chance of developing a depression, a low pressure, that low pressure leading to depression. From there it might be a cyclone to super cyclonic storm. So all these factors, so in order to understand this in a more comprehensive way, geography, open the chapter cyclones, आपको बहुत अच्छी तरह से समझ में आ जाएगा why the rise in sea temperature or the change in direction of the wind is affecting all these things. The coastal belt between Tiruvallur and Pudukkottai is hit by more number of cyclones than the southern region of Pudukkottai. Now this is another very interesting observation. यानी कि सिर्फ एक ही ऐसा जगह था जहां पे काफी ज्यादा साइक्लोन्स लैंडफॉल कर रही है. Among the regions is Sri Lanka acting as a shield for southern belt. Now it is time for you to understand this using a map. It is very simple that here you have something like this Sri Lanka, this is peninsular India. So this lower part of our India is completely shielded. Let us say for example there is a cyclone coming in any way. So in every way the Sri Lanka acts as a protection to the southern Tamil Nadu region. So it is only this upper part which is prone to cyclones which come like this. So naturally यहाँ पे Sri Lanka is acting as a natural shield. So Sri Lanka will face those cyclones and it will stop the cyclone in its land and protecting Tamil Nadu coast. So 3 years ago, there is a cyclone called Oki that devastated Kanyakumari completely. Is one of the 4 systems that have crossed the place in the last 100 years. So the southern Tamil Nadu, in the last 100 years, there were only 4 cyclones which hit the southernmost Tamil Nadu, and one of them is Cyclone Oki, which created havoc in Tamil Nadu. So that is about few interesting observations. Now it is your geography and environment where you have to read about the factors and what might be the factors which are responsible for this sudden increase. Next article, High Court Judge Lords 7.5% horizontal quota. So the Madras High Court has lauded, that is appreciated, the enactment of Tamil Nadu admission into UG courses in medicine, dentistry, Indian medicine and homeopathy on preferential basis to students of Government Schools Act 2020. यानी कि जितने भी गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स के बच्चे होंगे उनको अब 7.5% ऑफ horizontal reservation milegi. So these people will get 7.5% of horizontal reservation, and that is only to all the students of government schools of Tamil Nadu. There are few very important observations which were made by the High Court. The judge told the Advocate General of the state that the 7.5% horizontal reservation for government school students in medical college admissions is the greatest thing that has happened to the state in a long time. यानी कि पिछले कुछ साल से ये बहुत ही बढ़िया चीज है जो हमारे स्टेट को मिली थी। दिस विल बी ए टर्निंग पॉइंट फॉर गवर्नमेंट स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स एंड विल चेंज देयर फैमिली स्टेटस ऑल टुगेदर। यानी कि अगर एक गवर्नमेंट स्कूल स्टूडेंट को एमबीबीएस की सीट मिली या बीडीएस की सीट मिली या बीएचएमएस दैट इज होम्योपैथी की सीट मिली, so they'll become a doctor. When India is having an acute shortage of doctors, it is so natural that these people will be having lot of opportunities to change their family status। यानी कि उनकी फैमिली जो है वो उसकी स्टेटस जो है बहुत ज्यादा ग्रो करेगी। सो लिटरली दे आर चेंजिंग द एंटायर फैमिली and their life, and all these observations were made while hearing petitions filed by the parents of the students of Kadalur districts. Students had been offered seats under 7.5% quota in private colleges but were kept in waiting list because they were apprehensive of paying the fees। अभी ये 7.5% कोटा की वजह से प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस में काफी सीट्स मिली थी, लेकिन ये सारे लोग वेटिंग लिस्ट में रखा गया था। क्यों? क्योंकि उनका फीस के लेके हुए कुछ प्रॉब्लम आई थी। सो इन दिस कंटेक्स्ट द स्टूडेंट्स नीड नॉट pay even a single paise to the colleges. Even their food will also be sponsored by the state. At the time of counseling, a government order to this effect had not been issued। तो गवर्नमेंट ने ये बात कही थी कि that the government will be paying the entire fee plus also the food expenses of the students, and the government had given a oral assurance। दिस ओरल एश्योरेंस की वजह से 95% ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स जो थे वो ऑलरेडी अलॉटमेंट लेटर्स को ले लिया था एंड दे हैव आल्सो जॉइंड द कॉलेजेस। So there is a small section of students who did not join private colleges despite accepting the allotment letters because they feared that they would not be able to pay the fees। यानी कि 5% ऐसे लोग थे जो डर गए थे कि अगर गवर्नमेंट हमारे फीस नहीं भरेगी, क्योंकि हम लोगों को कुछ रिटर्न नहीं मिला था, सिर्फ ओरल एश्योरेंस मिली थी। सो व्हाट इफ द ओरल एश्योरेंस इज नॉट इनफ एंड वी नीड ए रिटन कम्युनिकेशन फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट। हमारे पास कुछ प्रूफ नहीं है कि हम लोग गवर्नमेंट से बात करें कि हमारा फंड्स रिलीज नहीं हुआ है। सो दैट्स व्हाई these people they feared and did not join। Now the government will revalidate, that means reissue these allotment letters to the students and make sure that they join the colleges। And there is another category of students, that is the third category of students who did not accept the allotment letters at all because they also had the same fear। ये लोग का मन में भी वही डर था कि अगर गवर्नमेंट ये फीस नहीं भरेगी, क्योंकि द गवर्नमेंट approved fees of many private colleges for MBBS is 60 to 70 lakhs। When you have 60 to 70 lakhs of fees to be paid, how can a poor family pay this? So that's why in this fear, those people are not accepting the seats at all। And all these petitioners, they fall under this third category। They are trying their best to accommodate this category also after the return of unfilled seats to the state government from the ऑल इंडिया कोटा। जब ऑल इंडिया कोटा से अनफिल्ड सीट्स वापस स्टेट में आएंगे तब इनको भी अकोमोडेट करने की बात हो रही है गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा। एवरी ईयर द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट रिटर्न्स नियरली 100 to 150 सीट्स टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट बिकॉज they are not filled in all India quota। And some other cases few private colleges also surrender their seats to the government quota। Now if these seats are returned, the 7.5% quota will also be applied to them। So there are a lot of reasons why people drop out from many colleges। So all those seats which are returned to the government, they will also be now applied with this 7.5%, and all the petitioners will be given a chance in this next quota। So this is something which is very very good because this will boost the government schools and colleges, and it will give a level playing field। क्योंकि हमेशा एक चीज याद रखना है दोस्तों, कहीं पे भी एक प्राइवेट स्कूल या कॉलेज में 80 to 90% teachers will be those who did not get a government posting. यानी कि जो लोग टीचर रिक्रूटमेंट टेस्ट में गवर्नमेंट पोस्टिंग नहीं मिली थी, उन्हीं लोग होते हैं जो प्राइवेट स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेजेस में पढ़ाते हैं. बट द गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेजेस, दे विल हैव द बेस्ट ऑफ क्लास पीपल because they are recruited through an exam. That exam shows the merit of those people. So that's why if we properly maintain the government schools and colleges, they are the best to provide free and quality education to all the people. यहाँ पे free के साथ साथ quality education भी काफी ज्यादा important है. Now, how is it level playing field? Let us take for example आकाश और फिजी. अगर कोई एक बंदा, एक रिच किड आकाश या फिजी में कोचिंग ले रहे हैं विथ spending 3 to 4 lakhs per year. Now the government college student is paying at maximum of 3 to 4,000 per year. In many states that is also not there. Now if these people are given this 7.5% quota, few middle class family whose annual income is 3 to 4 lakh per annum, it will be beneficiary for those people because the middle class is the one who cannot go to government school, who cannot afford a private school. So they'll go to a normal nearby private schools, but instead of that, if they go to the government schools, then they'll be also benefited, and overall the people produced from the government schools and the doctors produced from the government schools will be increased. That will be something which is really good because in private you cannot ensure the quality of education in lower levels. वो हाई स्टैंडर्ड्स वाले स्कूल्स की बात अलग है क्योंकि वहां पे लाखों में फीस ली जाती है, बट हाँ, many small private convents which run with students who passed degree or intermediate, with faculty who passed only degree without B.Ed or other things. So instead of going to those schools, now these students can come directly to the government schools and get their proper and best education. Next article. Center plans professional courses in mother tongue. Recently, the HRD ministry has said engineering is going to be started in Hindi also. So when there is Hindi medium of instruction in engineering, then naturally all the other professional courses are also to be started in Hindi and also other languages. The center is drafting a roadmap to ensure that students of medicine, engineering, law, and other professional programs can study in their own mother tongue. Literally, in Japan, Germany, Russia, in many such countries, even the PhD reports are also made in their native languages. So, this is something which is a very good development in protecting the indigenous languages in our country by making all the languages accessible even to the professional courses. Now, this decision was taken by the Education Minister after a meeting on the implementation of the National Education Policy NEP. NEP को implement करने में, क्योंकि अभी we are taking a complete shift in the education policy in our country. So this is the right time for us to implement any new revolutionary changes in education system. अगर हम लोग कुछ revolutionary changes education system में लाना चाहते हैं, so it is the right time and this is the best opportunity for us to do it. So that's why now Central is preparing a roadmap for it. A task force will be appointed to prepare the roadmap. The minister also emphasized that no language will be imposed on any student. So this is something which is addressing the South Indian students' concern, because in the present formula, the South Indian students have to study 3 languages while the North Indians study only 2 languages. So North Indians, they study Hindi and English, while the South Indians and other Northeast Indians, they study Hindi, English, along with them their own mother tongue or the regional language like Assamese or Bodo, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, and all the other native languages. So literally it is very much burden for students to read three languages while some other students are reading only two languages. So that's why this new system is emphasizing that no language will be imposed on any student, but enabling provisions that should be made that bright students are not deprived of technical education due to lack of knowledge of English language it added. यानी कि अगर आप मान के चलिए +12 में किसी एक स्टूडेंट को 95% मिली है, 90% से भी ज्यादा मिली है, एंड ये हिंदी मीडियम या असमीज मीडियम के थे. Now, when this person is from Hindi or Assamese medium with 95%, he has a fear that he cannot join technical education because he is not fluent in English. Few people are joining, still a majority of the chunk are still fearing about the English. Now, if it is in his own Hindi or Assamese, then he will be directly joining those technical institutions and he can get a great job. मान लीजिए वो आईआईटी गुवाहाटी में असमीज मीडियम में या हिंदी मीडियम में एडमिट हो गया था, तो नेचुरली उसका जो सैलरी होगा बाहर आने के बाद वो कम से कम 10 से 20 गुना ज्यादा होगा उनके नॉर्मल डिग्री से कंपेयर किए तो. So naturally that will be a benefit for him and also for the society because we are producing some quality people and quality education. So these things will be all beneficiary if the education is in mother tongue. Higher Education Secretary will head a task force to prepare the roadmap for imparting technical education in mother tongue. The task force will submit its report within a month after taking into consideration the suggestions from various stakeholders. सब लोगों के साथ कंसल्टेशंस और कंसिडरेशन के बाद लगभग एक महीने के अंदर ये टास्क फोर्स जो है वो अपना रिपोर्ट सबमिट करेगी इस चीज को लेके. The next article which we are going to discuss is Biden sets new demands for return to Iran nuclear deal. ऑलरेडी हम लोग इसके बारे में कुछ डिस्कस किया था कि जो बाइडेन ने पहले ही अनाउंस किया था कि he will reconsider the Iran nuclear deal once he comes to power. So now he set his own demands for the return to Iran's nuclear deal. The US President-elect Joe Biden will insist Iran agrees to new demands if it wants to return to a nuclear deal with US and also to get its sanctions lifted. The Biden's administration would seek the extend the duration of restrictions on Iran's production of fissile material that could be used to make a nuclear bomb in a new round of negotiations. यानी कि कुछ और समय तक ईरान पर रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगाया जाएगा किसके लिए फिजाइल मटेरियल यानी कि जो मटेरियल दैट कैन बी यूज्ड टू प्रोड्यूस ए न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब. सो नाउ यूएस इज गोइंग टू डिमांड दैट you should restrict the production of the materials which will help to make a nuclear bomb is the demand of Joe Biden's administration. So a maximum pressure campaign yani ki US under the new president or the president elect wants to build a pressure from all walks on these people, that is the Iranians, so that there will be no much issue. Then Iran would love to address it malign regional activities through proxies in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and in the talks that would include Arab neighbors like Saudi Arabia. So all these countries will also be involved because US has some good relations and also US has some strategic partnerships with some of these countries, and US also had its own forces deployed in some other places. So Iran would like to address these activities in a broader perspective. President Donald Trump unilaterally withdrew from the deal in 2018 and it reimposed the crippling sanctions on Iran as part of maximum pressure campaign against the US arch enemy. Right from many years, it is Iran versus USA. Almost you can say from 1980s, Iran and USA are never go friends and they are always going head to head. So this is something which also has to be addressed because US wants maximum pressure on Iran and Iran wants the regional areas to support itself. Now, Biden during his campaigning, he said that he wants to offer a credible path back to diplomacy. Yani ki he wants to establish some regional ties with Iran and also be part of the Iran's nuclear deal. But there is another important thing which is a matter of concern, that is the arms race. Biden wanted that if Iran acquired a bomb, it would spark a nuclear arms race in the West Asia. And the last goddamn thing we need in that part of the world is a build up of nuclear capability, because the biggest threat is terror activity in that region. If Iran acquires a bomb, there is a possibility that there might be a terror attack on Iran for these nuclear bombs. So, if there is a probability that these people, the terrorists, are acquiring nuclear bombs, that is threat to the whole world. So that's why all the countries are very much worried. So none of the countries want any kind of nuclear activity in the entire West Asia, because already we are worried about Pakistan having nuclear bomb and always in war with, or always in conflict with India, because India, China, Pakistan, very nearer to each other, and all these countries are having nuclear weapons. Now, if Iran adds to it, Pakistan and Iran, they are literally hubs for many kinds of terror activities. Iran terror activities are not affecting India, but the Pakistan's terror attacks are often affecting India because they target only India. Now, if there is any nuclear weapon which is building up, that is a matter of concern for all the people across the globe. In consultation with our allies and partners, we are going to engage in negotiations and follow on agreements to tighten and lengthen Iran's nuclear constraints as we address the missile program. यानी कि ईरान की मिसाइल प्रोग्राम को एड्रेस करते हुए बाकी चीजों के बारे में भी हम लोग नेगोशिएट करके डील्स भी करेंगे, ऐसा बोला था बाइडेन्स न्यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में. Biden was cited as saying that US always had an option to international snapback sanctions if need be, and Iran knew it. That means USA can anytime impose international sanctions from any country on Iran, and Iran should keep in mind and treat USA accordingly, is literally a threat, or you can say a warning given by Biden. The 2015 nuclear deal, which is also called as JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, gave Iran relief from sanctions in return of curbs on its nuclear program. यानी कि कई साल तक ईरान was under nuclear sanctions, and this JACPO or JCPOA gave some relief to Iran, and it was only India which, with the help of Food for Oil program, India provided food grains and other basic necessities to Iran, because India did, because of international sanctions, no country is allowed to trade with Iran, and that's why India resorted to a system called barter system, where India gave food, they gave oil. We did not sell food or we did not purchase oil. We only exchanged things, and with that, literally, Iran got a lot of help from India. So that is about the Biden and his new policy towards nuclear deal. The next article is industries complaining to Supreme Court about the central government. Industry and business sectors complained to the Supreme Court that the government's decision to restrict its payback scheme to only small borrowers covering 8 categories of loans and only up to 2 crore is arbitrary. That is, it is random and not based on any proper research or proper analytics. The bench was hearing a list of pleas from various sectors for similar financial relief to help them overcome the stress caused by the pandemic and lockdown. So recently the government has announced that it will pay back all the interest and the compound interest. So interest as well as the compound interest which was collected from the firms and small borrowers up to 2 crores. Now, some big players in the industry who are also incurring a big loss because of the pandemic are demanding that their interest should also be given back. So, they are seeking an industry specific relief because, let us say, for example, healthcare. Healthcare has literally boomed and it has a very big growth. So you need not give any incentives to healthcare. But whereas tourism industry, it was completely in distress. You should give more boost to tourism industry. So the payback scheme, it covers only MSMEs, education, housing, consumer durables, credit card companies, automotives, personal and consumption loans. So only these types of loans will be eligible for payback scheme, and already the lenders have got 4,300 crore back from the government as the difference in the compound interest and simple interest which is charged from March 1st to August 31st. So from March 1st to August 31st, which is called the moratorium period, because for this period the center has declared that there will be no compound interest. So whatever compound interest is collected, that is returned back, keeping only the simple interest. And the ex gratia payments had also been made into 13.12 crore bank account as of November 13. So 13.12 crore beneficiaries or bank accounts were credited as on November 13, and the Supreme Court had noted the government submission in a recent judgment on November 27. So literally already the government has returned lot of money to lot of players. Now it should be identified, have already given the payments. Now other sectors are also asking asking for some similar relief. तो बाकी जितने भी सेक्टर्स है वो भी इसी चीज के लिए डिमांड कर रहे हैं. And however, industry and business sectors classified as big borrowers have been seeking industry specific relief rather than being left to the mercy of individual lending institutions. यानी कि these big industrial players जो भी इस मार्केट में है, जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं बिग borrowers, that means they are having loans of hundreds of crores or thousands of crores, they are asking for a industry specific relief. That means, let us say for example, tourism industry, all these domestic and national tour operators and other people, they should be exempted completely or give them a 50% relaxation or a time to restructure the loans. So if you have taken a loan for 25 years, now keep it 28 years and these 3 years or this 1 year just restructure it. That means add the interest later, not now. So that is something which we call it as restructure. All these things are being demanded by the industrial as well as business structures. And the CREDE has highlighted that the need for government and the RBI to understand the specific problems faced by each industry during the pandemic. इस पैंडेमिक की वजह से हर एक डिपार्टमेंट की या हर एक सेक्टर की अलग अलग प्रॉब्लम्स जो है उसको डिफरेंटली ट्रीट करना चाहिए, सबको मिलके एक ही तरह से ट्रीट नहीं करना चाहिए, इसे क्रेडे भी सजेस्ट किया था. Some sectors such as pharma or digital platform like Amazon Prime or Netflix Hotstar, they have done really well during the lockdown, so these need not be included. And real estate and retail market were in doldrums. Now, clubbing distressed sectors with others will be a violation of Article 14 of the Constitution is what these people are saying. यानी कि ये सब लोगों को मिलके एक ही चीज देना, जिसको जरूरत है उसको ना देके जिसको नहीं जरूरत है उसको देना, it is a violation of Article 14 is what these people are saying. So already you know what is Article 14. So what is Article 14, friends? It's nothing but equality before law or equal protection of laws. So it's nothing but equality or equal protection of laws. That's why these people are asking treat us with equality. That is, those who are distressed, they need more relief. Those who are in profits, they need not treat any relief. And you should apply rational and you should be analytical in discussing such things, is what these people have said. So that's it for the day, guys. I'll see you again in the tomorrow's analysis. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.